They say rock bottom has a basement. Marcus discovered this truth on a freezing December night, sitting alone in his car with everything he owned crammed in the back seat. 6 months earlier, Marcus had it all: a thriving business, a beautiful home, friends who filled every weekend with laughter. He was the man everyone admired, the one who seemed to have life figured out. But success built on sand doesn't last. His business partner betrayed him, stealing clients and funds. The lawsuits came next, draining his savings. His so-called friends vanished when the money disappeared. Even his own family, tired of his pride and self-reliance, kept their distance. His wife, unable to weather the storm, left with their daughter. Now, at 42 years old, Marcus sat in that cold car with $17 to his name and a heart so heavy he could barely breathe. "God, if you're there," he whispered into the darkness, "I have nothing left to offer you but this broken mess of a man." That night something shifted, not in his circumstances but in his soul. The next morning, Marcus walked into a community center looking for work, any work. The manager, an elderly woman named Sister Grace, offered him a janitorial position. The pay was barely minimum wage. His ego screamed at him to refuse, but he took it. Every morning at 5 a.m., Marcus cleaned floors. The same hands that once signed million-dollar contracts now scrubbed toilets. And in that humility, something remarkable happened. He started praying. Not the quick, desperate prayers of his crisis, but real conversations with God. "I spent 30 years building my kingdom," he told Sister Grace one day. "I never stopped to ask what God wanted to build through me." Sister Grace smiled. "Sometimes God takes away everything we're holding on to so we'll finally reach for his hand." Marcus began helping at the center beyond his duties. He mentored troubled kids, teaching them business skills. He organized food drives. He listened to broken people because he understood their pain. One evening, a teenager named DeAndre, who'd been kicked out by his family, reminded Marcus of himself, lost, angry, drowning in pride. Marcus shared his story, holding nothing back. The facade was gone. The pride was dead. "You think you're alone," Marcus told him, "but that's when you discover you never were. God was always there. We just couldn't see him past our own reflection." DeAndre's eyes welled with tears. That night the boy went home and reconciled with his mother. It was Marcus's first glimpse of redemption, not his own, but someone else's through him. Months passed. Marcus lived simply, faithfully. He reconnected with his daughter through honest, humble letters. No more pretending to have it together. Just a father admitting his failures in his new journey. Then came the call that changed everything. A former client who'd always respected Marcus reached out. He'd heard about Marcus's work at the community center and wanted to fund a nonprofit with Marcus leading it. An organization helping entrepreneurs who'd failed, giving them skills, support, and second chances. "I don't want your old Marcus," the client said. "I want the man you've become." Today, Marcus runs that nonprofit. It's helped hundreds rebuild their lives. He lives in a modest apartment. He drives a used car, and he's never been wealthier. Because Marcus learned what most of us spend lifetimes avoiding, that losing everything can be the greatest gift. That when you have no one but God, you have everything you truly need. That the lowest valley is where you find the highest calling. His daughter visits every weekend now. Not because he's successful, but because he's finally real. "Dad," she said recently, "you're the richest poor man I know." Marcus smiled. "Baby girl, I'm not poor. I just finally understand what treasure actually is." When a man has no one but God, he discovers that God was always enough. And in that discovery, he becomes exactly who he was created to be. The question is, what are you holding on to that God is asking you to release? Because sometimes the greatest blessings wear the disguise of loss.